think we gotta talk more about it. Maybe I'm confused. Are we here? Are we live? We're not live, dude.
What's happening? Oh, we finally fixed Clump. We did it. This is good. No, this is good.
Lives on.
Welcome. What's going on?
Leave me alone.
This is good. No, this is good stuff.
This is working out very well.
Got a little bit of a new setup. I know there's no way I'm not echoing.
This is good. Oh, jeez.
You love Reese's.
God
Thank
damn
you,
it, Clump.
Absolutely.
We're not trying to shill for Reese's, okay?
What is the chocolate? So it's kind of worse.
It's
Why
peanut
are
butter.
they advertising to you?
Reese's is peanut butter. You can have that.
Well, it's chocolate too.
Not the candy shell. Those were the Reese's Pieces, dude.
It makes me feel.
You know what? Clump, you need to ice me early, dude. I need to
need
get
a
started.
goddamn drink now.
I need to get started.
This is really upsetting what you've done, Clump.
Shout outs to Bashes and the cheese pizza. Pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah, that cheese pizza was pretty bomb. I like how much of that pizza is bread.
That's good bread. Because like Little Caesars is mostly bread too, but it's terrible.
I want to rock this title like this the whole show, like I'm Bailey. But I just know it's got to be messing with my audio. There's no way people are not hearing this weird.
I want to cradle this belt like the baby 10 pounds of gold it is, but I can't see it because I have the women's belt in front of me, which is fine, which is fair. We got a lot of time.
We can move stuff around.
Yeah.
We can move. We could have a mobile set today, a moving set.
Yeah.
Check that out. All right, are we going to get started?
Yeah, let's start pouring our drinks.
All right, let's start the show. Hit that intro.
Hit that intro.
No.
What?
What?
I
think she's saying we're live.
God damn it, she keeps saying that shit. Welcome to Wrestling on the Rocks.
Howdy.
Last show of the year and first show ever for us. You're going the wrong way! It's getting louder!
It's not letting me do anything.
Well then get it away from the mic!
This mic's off.
Yeah, her mic's off.
Oh,
the echo.
We're done.
Oh my god. Well, at least we know that Marsh is sounding really good, and as long as Clump and I project our voices, we should be fine too.
We should be good. Let us know if you guys can't hear us, if we're really unbalanced. We're trying out some new audio stuff today.
Mostly this is because we farted up our mics too bad to use anymore.
They're stained.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're stained in the cables.
I did not know that.
They're really bad.
News to me.
They're warped.
That board and the mics are going back to that person?
Yeah.
Sorry, Carpenter.
We farted them up.
Yeah.
Pretty bad. Permanently farted. I hope when they clip it on, they're like, oh. And they think it's their own hand. They go like, what the fuck? Like, I want them to be confused by it.
Indian food.
Ooh.
Dude, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't ruin Indian food for me. I don't want to associate
You should
Indian
know it
food.
doesn't smell like that.
I don't want to associate Indian food with anything bad. Okay.
He's gonna like go and have like some sort of Indian food one day and be like, that's just enough. God damn it. Yeah. Welcome to Wrestling on the Rocks, where every show is like our first show because we can't get our shit together.
Yeah.
We got a few things here. We got a few options.
We make changes, but everything stays the same. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Weird.
I'm curious to see how that goes because every time any of my families drank any of that, they continue to drink it, but they don't look happy.
All right. You know what?
Your family doesn't start happy, Plum.
I'm present.
Who's this for?
That's for all of you.
I said we go in, boys.
Let's do it. Let's go moonshine. Do we have moonshine straight though? Is that a thing?
I think we can take a couple sips of it straight
And see what's
up.
next.
Yeah.
See what the next step is.
Ooh, harsh.
Oh Jesus!
Such a.
All right, so
Well, before we get into what we want to do today is talk about the year in review a little bit.
I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. That's a couple sips.
All right.
Just see what's up.
Shout out to 10-Ton Moonshine, American blended whiskey.
Teton.
Teton.
Tan.
Teton?
Teton?
It's a mountain range in Montana.
That's not true.
Never been.
That's a planet in Star Wars.
And as far as I know, it doesn't exist.
It's also titties in that language, I was told.
Is it?
No,
Titty
it's
Mountain?
not.
Yeah,
It's Titty Mountain?
I will look it up.
All right, I'll go.
Oh, man. You know what? Wouldn't be surprised. There's some pretty freaking weird names in this country. What did I do with the belt? Oh, it's right here.
You're like, I've lost it.
I lost it.
One drink in, I've lost the
I
belt.
haven't even started yet, and it's gone. All
right.
Cheers.
Cheers to the whole past year.
Yep. Cheers to moonshine the way this 2019 year of everything. What?
That was smoother than most moonshines. What do you got?
Okay. French trappers are responsible for naming the three peaks known as the South, Middle, and Grand Teton. They are called These mountains are also called Les Trios Tetons, or the Three Breasts.
That is smooth.
Yeah, smooth moonshine. Smooth titty moonshine.
Yeah,
Smooth
like titties.
Titties, moonshine.
Smooth like titties should
moonshine. Yeah.
This is going well.
Put a little moonshine on that. You know?
That'll make you go blind.
That is
Also,
a supple drink.
Yeah, I'm already like doing the air guitar.
This drink makes my pants feel tight.
Yeah.
Whoa. Not there yet.
That's the gas. It's pressure.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, so it is the end of 2019, obviously, and a lot has happened this year in wrestling.
And the end of a decade. A lot of people talking about decade.
Fuck the decade,
If
man.
you had to give one quick highlight of the decade, what do you think is the biggest moment for you in the decade? Now, you weren't watching the full decade, right?
Oh, of wrestling? Full decade now.
Okay, so I wasn't either. Were you watching this entire decade?
5 years of it.
So that would be a no. So, okay.
Yeah, no.
I'll teach you math
Okay,
later.
let's.
I got
This past 5 years, right?
Yeah.
We're all around the same spot. We all started watching again around the same time. So instead of going over what was the best of 10 years, what brought you back into it in this decade?
It actually wasn't. It was something I watched on YouTube that made me keep going back into it. Edge's retirement.
Edge's retirement?
Yeah.
You just kept watching it over and over again?
Like I would go back and say, oh, this is a guy that's important to me as a kid, and then I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just watch this shit and see what's going on instead of like occasionally watching it on YouTube or like Ric Flair's retirement or Shawn Michaels' retirement. Let's see what this is. And I was like, oh fuck, this is
That makes sense.
a thing.
So Edge's retirement, one of the most important and pivotal moments in wrestling as far as this show is concerned, because you wouldn't be sitting here today if you weren't doing that.
You're making
Because
this
of that.
meaningful.
No, what the fuck, dude? What do you got? What brought you back into it?
I mean, I'd have to say AJ Styles Royal Rumble.
AJ Styles Royal Rumble. That was one of the last huge shocks to the WWE universe.
Yeah.
Getting something I thought they never would. That was a big move.
And everybody in that crowd just shat their pants because, I mean, and this was before I even started like really following it online, watching the YouTube stuff and that. As far as I know, the crowd was not expecting that.
I remember that was when I was getting into Red Squared Circle, and I just remember one of my favorite comments was just everyone shitting about the camera.
Oh,
Roman Reigns looking vaguely confused.
Yeah, he was like, what the fuck? And they weren't even showing it. You hear the crowd go, oh my God! Because they all see it says AJ Styles, and Roman's like,
What's that?
what's that? But as far as Roman's concerned, that's how you should play that.
Yeah,
You
because their
100%
biggest superstar's like, wait, who's this guy?
Yeah, who's the
Oh,
fuck is
it's
this?
AJ fucking Styles, Roman.
Yeah, you're about to fucking learn.
Yeah,
You're gonna get learnt.
a guy that will go over you.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's AJ Styles' intro into WWE, Edge's retirement, one out, one in.
And you?
Titty Mountain.
Titty Mountain.
Teddy Mountain.
So July 2016, SummerSlam and Takeover, Brooklyn 2. I was living in New York. A few of my friends were going, and I was like, man, I really like wrestling. I haven't seen it in I remember the last time I watched it. The last episode I had seen before then was when Undertaker came out and forced Jim Ross's face into Vince McMahon's ass in the Kiss My Ass Club. I remember vividly going, I'm not watching this garbage, and turned it off. And I did not watch again. Every now and again, I would tune in for a little bit. I remember seeing Batista and being like, this is fucking trash. And I never really got caught onto it again until I watched Bailey Asuka. Had me blowing up my friend's phone saying, who are these girls? This is incredible. I've never seen wrestling like this from women before. And then the next night, watching all of SummerSlam, the only match I really remember that night was the Universal title match, Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. And I remember thinking, holy shit, wrestling is different now.
And that was also the match where Finn Balor blew his shoulder out.
Yep. He blew out his shoulder, and I was really confused because I'd never seen Finn Balor, so I thought the Demon was just what he did full time. So I text my friend and I was like, kind of crazy they gave a big title to someone who's so gimmicky. And he's all like, you don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, it was those two matches because I saw it was definitely Bailey Asuka had me talking for days, and then so did Balor Seth. And I was like, I got to see what happens next with these people.
Yeah, I mean, AJ going into the Rumble and the pop after that, and the outrage isn't the right word, but the reaction afterwards kind of got me to the rabbit hole because that kind of led me to NXT. That kind of led me into the Indies because I didn't hear too much of who AJ Styles was. Actually, I just knew that it was a big deal that he was in WWE.
Yeah, that this happened.
Yeah, so that led me to go check out like ROH stuff, a lot of like older indie stuff, PWG, NJPW. That led me to that as well to see his title there. So it was definitely a catalyst for me to get back into the game and reinvigorate my interest.
Yeah. For sure. Mm-hmm. So I'd say those are two big moments, and I don't mean to try and take 2 moments for my own, but it was 2 matches in one weekend that really solidified it for me. Because if I think one by itself wouldn't have done it. I think it was the pairing of those 2 matches back to back that made me go, okay, something's different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
SummerSlam 2016, and Edge's retirement, and AJ Styles coming to WWE. Mm-hmm. Big shit. And I don't even have a Universal title replica because fuck the Universal title. I said it.
So, they're supposed to be debuting a new U.S. title belt soon.
Oh, supposed to be? Is that something they announced? WWE said that on their official website?
Didn't see on their official website, no. But they do announce a bunch of bullshit like that nowadays.
They do, and they didn't. So, I don't know if I should say they're supposed to be, but...
I mean, insiders say that
what insiders?
They've ordered new belts along with the Intercontinental or not. Yeah. So
yo, I saw one today that said some jackoff fucking confirmed that there was no long-term booking plans between Becky and Asuka, and it was a lucky accident that Becky's lost to Asuka like twice since then, and there was no booking plans for them to be facing Royal Rumble at all. Like, definitely confirmed. It's like, by fucking who? Some dude who just says he knows a dude who thinks he got word that it wasn't? That's not confirmed to me. That's rumor has it.
Rumor has it.
We should make up this bullshit, make up our own website. We could do it decently.
Yeah, no, our website's coming 2020.
Hey,
man,
WrestlingOnTheRocks.com.
My content's gonna suck. Just kidding.
So this week we're gonna just breeze through this week as far as highlights, lowlights. I would say it's the best show AEW put on so far.
Didn't watch it.
I didn't have one.
I was like, don't know, didn't watch.
I want to be a dick to you, but part of me was like, cool, I don't have to watch that.
Yeah, it was kind of a funny joke. But I did think it was funny that there was a bunch of idiots being like, oh, NXT slaughtered AEW in the ratings.
Well, didn't they have a dark episode, though? I thought
it was last week.
Yeah.
Last week, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, sorry.
What do you guys think of Daniel Bryan being what he's doing?
I find
him and Miz together.
Well, I don't like that, but I think it's bizarre how what the Fiend does to people. Like, there's still no like reason or how exactly is he affecting these people? You know what I mean?
Well, he hurts some and he heals others.
Yeah, I guess
it's weird.
Yeah,
for sure. I'm not liking the new Daniel Bryan thing.
Neither am I.
I feel like it's such a waste and throwaway of what was one of the best heels of the year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the planet's Daniel Bryan, and then he was even able to show how even with that aspect, he could still be a face.
Well,
I was like, man, this character is so in depth, and then it really feels like there's like, we're just gonna go back a few years real quick.
I think if they played it out better and draw it out, the face turn would have been a really good payoff.
Yeah.
But this soon, utilizing the Yes movement already after he shunned it for so many months prior to it,
I kind of wish they did it long enough and he got enough heat that when he came back and he tried to do it, there was no people supporting him.
Oh man,
I think
how long would that take though?
I think we need to scoot up a little bit, guys. I'm looking and we're like drowning behind these titles. The show's like all tight.
We're dripping in gold.
Yeah, drip, 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 drip.
Ric Flair drip.
Maybe the problem's the camera's so low. It's all right. It's all right.
It's all right, producer.
It's slimming.
Yeah,
but with height.
But with titles, it just looks like our faces are just poking over, like old people driving, just to couple of knuckles on a steering wheel.
That is how I look when I'm driving.
Yeah?
Do you sit low?
I do.
Do you dip it low? Do you pick it up slow?
Jared Leonard gets low.
It's gonna hurt your back in like 2 years,
dude.
It's just
I'm an old pro.
Put a pillow in your middle back.
Another highlight everyone's talking about, and we didn't talk about it for the last 3 weeks, so we got a little bit of catching up to do. Liv Morgan and her vignettes leading into her appearance last night. What do you guys think about Liv Morgan's big return and build towards the return?
Such a waste. Such a dumb shock value.
Yeah.
I know some people are like, hey, it was entertaining. Did I like watching it? Yeah, I liked watching it, but it's like,
I don't like what you like watching.
Yeah, I don't like
I don't like you for what you like watching.
It was tasteless to me, and it's just throwing alcohol into a fire.
I think for me, the thing that bothers me the most isn't that she's part of this stupid storyline, because as much as we hate it, it is arguably the most talked about storyline in all of WWE.
As much as we hate it, it's doing a really good job at making Lana a heel. Like, I freaking hate Lana. Like, yeah. She opens her mouth and I'm just like, stop. I understand why, because you're really good on the mic. You project your voice well, but you're also really annoying.
It makes me like become the most annoyed, like, smarky person, because I hate it because I hate this shit now on wrestling, and then I hate it because I also hate that kind of fan. Yeah. I'm like, fuck, I won't be this guy.
But the storyline, like I was saying, is the most talked about. It's arguably the hottest angle they have right now because of that, and it's creating two of the biggest. They got a huge heel in Lana and a huge face in Rusev out of it. So it's hard to say, being part of the storyline's bad, because it is one of their hotter angles. I just have no interest in it.
What's it going to elevate Rusev to, though? How is Rusev going to pay off from this?
If he beats Lashley in a good match, that could be a payoff. The problem isn't Rusev and Lashley, because Rusev's going over and Lashley's going to get booed, and that's what the point is, and they're doing it. And they're getting everyone to talk about it. My problem with Liv being involved with it is there's no payoff for her. Who does she face in this that looks good? Lana can't wrestle.
Well, and the end of, like, how the segment ended up was basically a Jerry Springer episode with, Liv and Lana basically reverting back to Attitude Era fighting of just like hair pulling and
they were yanking hair.
Yeah, they were yanking hair. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So it was not a good, like, reminiscent for me.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of I wasn't a fan of almost any of it except for Jerry Lawler.
Well, again, and it's like
Lawler was killer in this. He was so funny.
All through my marriages.
Yeah.
All through my weddings.
He's cracking me up.
I agree with you so much.
But there's no payoff for Liv. She doesn't look stronger at the end no matter what. Because now you've put her in a program with Lana, who can't wrestle, who's awful on the mic. And I think more than anything, this angle has exposed Lana for being as bad as she is and tone deaf as she is. I think a lot of people are going to probably stop saying that she's one of the best managers on the mic after this whole thing.
I still think, like, because they use her so often, and because they gave her so much mic time, now we don't like how she is on the mic. I wouldn't say she's bad on the mic, though.
I would. I'd say she's absolutely terrible.
Yeah, producer here.
You guys just hate her, so you're getting work, brother.
You're getting the same thing.
And I hate her too. I'm saying I hate her too.
I don't think that was the intent of how she talked. I think they wanted the content to make you hate her. I don't think her tone deaf nature was. Do you think she's able to?
I think that's absolutely part of her character.
Yeah. What if she's Lady Baron Corbin?
No, but Baron Corbin's
so good.
Yeah, I feel like he's
Baron Corbin wrestles and he has a great moveset.
No, I'm just giving.
But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm just giving you guys shit.
Oh, okay.
I think,
Lady Shane McMahon.
I think that tone deaf stuff and, like, repeating herself and repeating, like, last week when she was talking about the wedding and she repeated, like, when the wedding was, like, she was shilling the wedding. Monday Night Raw next week, blah blah blah. Like, that's purposely done.
You don't think it's her stumbling over her own words
trying
to figure out where she's at?
No.
Because she looks confused as fuck the whole time.
No. I really think there is a method to that madness, dude.
Well, if it is, then maybe she's decent, but I get the impression that if she got hit by a car, I wouldn't even care.
Well, I mean, that shouldn't have anything to do with it.
Stop. People are going to think you're serious.
Okay, so he has a dark sense of humor. Disclaimer. Let's go ahead and put that at post.
Yep. We have to explain to new viewers coming in because they're
He
going to
doesn't
be
want
like,
her dead. He wants her maimed.
yeah, stop. See,
She should live through it.
You're not helping,
guys, come on, he just tweeted. What if someone just tunes in? They're going to be like, man, these guys are just.
Whoa.
But even then, our tweets do not
haters.
reflect the views of wrestling.
It's just like, even our official tweets.
Even our official tweets.
We did not enjoy that. We did not enjoy that wedding.
These guys are just haters. When,
No, but I didn't like it. I don't like that there's no payoff for Liv. I think Liv is so good. I was really hoping for her to be in a program with anyone that could highlight how good she is. Although I do think that Liv went out there and did an excellent job at what she was meant to do. Mm-hmm. I think she was perfect on the mic. I think she executed it all very, very well. There's no payoff for her.
No.
She's not going to be in a classic match with Lana.
Nope.
Lana's not going to elevate her in the ring.
Nope.
Nothing's going to make her look good at the end of this. And that's what bothers me is that here's someone who, more than anything, has enough hype and needs to look good and strong, and is just going to be another sloppy match with Lana.
Yeah.
Lana has managed to make everyone who she's in the ring with look worse because of how bad she is. Think of the Naomi Lana matches.
I know. And producer here, I love Naomi. She's like she's my favorite.
She'll be back. 2020, she'll be back.
And when I think of Lana, I mean, I know there are fans out there of Lana's.
It's cider.
You have cider?
Oh yeah, but this is cider.
Oh, this is whiskey.
It's a whiskey cider.
It's really good, actually.
Oh, shouldn't I pair it with cider as well?
You don't need to.
You don't need to put another cider in there.
Oh, it was tea that I had paired it with.
Yeah.
Yeah, you paired it with tea.
There are Lana fans, but I'm not exactly sure.
What's wrong with them?
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what her draw is. Besides, she's got a great body. Like I don't know.
I think that is honestly what that mid-50s person from the Midwest says. She got a great body.
No, there are women who are real fans of hers, and I don't know if that's because we want to support all women because they're women. Which I'm sorry, as a woman, I don't. I like what I find entertaining, and then I don't for others. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like blindly following and cheering for everything just because of the gender or race of what's happening. I want good content regardless.
But again, I don't like the fact that they used bisexuality or homosexuality for shock value when there are openly gay talent on the roster.
They haven't done great with that either.
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't done that great either.
Exactly. And they didn't do that great with that angle either. So it's just...
But I didn't get the impression that it was shock for being gay so much as a shock of a storyline.
it was her saying that it was not Bobby, it was Lana. It was definitely for the
in there, but that's an internal mic, isn't it?
No, it looks like it's... Yeah, now it's picking up.
Yeah, now we're picking up the Yeti.
Can you guys hear us now?
Great insider information.
It was like this before. Though. Something happened.
All right, something must have happened.
Wow, I wonder how long that was off.
Sorry about that.
Yikes! Again, every show's our first show.
Yeah, cool.
I could have been eating pizza, and it would have been fine.
It would have been great. It would have been good visuals. Did you want to see about making your mic show up on there? Awesome. Hitbox, how does it sound? We're trying a new mic setup. How does it sound just in general? Is there any white noise or anything like that?
Can you hear us all?
When it's working.
Can you hear all of us clearly?
Yes.
Let us know. We're trying a new audio setup, and that doesn't come without struggles. All right, so fuck it. Forget that. Let's just go into a review of 2019. Let's see.
Sounds clear.
There we go. Now that
Sounds clear. Cool.
that's weird.
Now, another question. Is there a delay? Is there a video audio delay?
Are we echoing now? Because it looks like we have two inputs. Like, look. I bet you we have an echo right now. One of those got to go.
Hitbox will tell us.
Yep.
Hitbox is a real G.
Yeah, Hitbox is the shit. Yes, and now echo. See? Yep, there goes that echo. Knew it. Got it. Cleared up the echo. Cool.
So
Hitbox, you the man.
So there is still an audio delay.
Yeah, there's always a little bit of a delay.
Yeah, it's not gonna sync up.
Yeah.
Well, potentially.
What?
We'll have to watch it. We'll watch and check.
Yeah, we'll see. I have a good hunch that most of the show we've been silent. So let's go ahead and go into 2019 top fives, bottom fives, all of the good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had a really hard time with my top five. I ended up making almost a top 10 with all my honorable mentions.
Actually, I don't know.
But I think we're going to hit a lot of this stuff. Who wants to get it started? Who wants to pick up with? And we can go from not your most favorite to our most favorite of the fives, kind of bottom up.
Yeah, where you want to go bottom up?
Yeah.
Okay. Man. All right. So for me, the bottom top five for me would be the first women's match in Saudi Arabia. It's for 2019.
Yes.
Big moment for the women of WWE. Big moment in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
In their government. Good publicity for them. Obviously, a huge publicity stunt on both parts. We'll call spade a spade, but whatever. Regardless, it was a huge moment. Got a big pop. The crowd loved it. It was not without incident, though. You know, some people tossed bottles at Natty and what's her name? I keep just like
Lacey.
Lacey. I was gonna call her Lana because we were talking about Lana. But other than that, you know, they got to do something that's never been done before, and hey, that's a hell of a highlight for 2019 for me. So that goes in my top five.
Yeah, I think it's been a long time coming. A lot of people have had a lot of negative things to say about them being in Saudi Arabia, and we've been our collective stance to a degree is, as much as we're not happy about a lot of things, the hope was that they were going to do something with that and something positive and big and meaningful for people, and this year they did. They went from where the women weren't even allowed in the arena to the women being allowed in a segregated area, to the women being allowed to sit wherever they wanted, to women being allowed to perform. And one step before that, women being on commentary. Yeah. You know, so they've been making and pushing progress at least a little bit. It's only so much you can do where the rest is in their hands. But if you can make some bit of progress visually and for those people, at the end of the day, the only thing we probably have in common with anybody in Saudi is that we all like wrestling. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of cool that they got to see it.
At the end of the day, it's similar to the way the NBA or the Harlem Globetrotters or WCW did shows in North Korea, the Clash in Korea. It's an unpopular regime that's got a lot of controversy behind it, but the goal of it is to hopefully advance something. And I think this has been more successful. I've always been kind of not a big fan of it for a lot of reasons, but when I look at it in that lens, I'm more okay with it because I can see things like this being positives. Yeah,
absolutely.
Also, they get a lot of flack. They're far from the only company organization that does go there and do things there, and we don't attack McDonald's or KFC or other companies that have these big presences in Saudi Arabia.
That's a good point.
Can't argue that.
Yeah.
Clump, what was your bottom top 5?
Bottom top 5. I am going to go with Keith Lee Survivor Series weekend.
Yeah, let's go ahead and encompass that with the idea of NXT. Let's just talk about NXT in general right now. So they did a bunch of awesome shit this year, hitting USA. The push for Keith Lee is on my list as well. And just their women's division in general. They have probably the strongest women's division in all of wrestling.
Yeah.
When I think about it, I think the bigger stars are not there. I think that my favorite women wrestlers are on the main roster. But when I think about the quality of the storylines and quality of matches, regardless of who's involved in them, it's not even that close. Well, NXT is the strongest women's division there.
I think this is very early on in NXT being on USA. Keith Lee got the chance to showcase, and he showcased. And for anyone on the network, but anyone watching Survivor Series, anyone watching Raw or SmackDown, Keith Lee looked like a badass, and he looked great. And I love that. I think he stood out more than anyone in any of the matches that he was a part of. I really like. I'm quickly becoming a huge Keith Lee mark. I want Keith Lee to have all the titles right now and maintain them because. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I thought it was really funny. Right after they went live on USA, I had missed the first Dijakovac and Keith Lee match, awesome. And the producer had seen it, and I thought you had seen it, and I know Kevlar saw it, and I was just being like bombarded with, you have to go back and watch this match. And lucky me, I didn't have to because they did it like 2 more times, and it was really fucking good.
Yeah.
Didn't get tired of it.
The fuck is glowing? Oh, it's just the reflection of the wall. It's crazy. Yeah, I thought it was reflecting off something else, but that's crazy.
Clump's got the glow.
Clump's glowing. Let's see. What else did you have to say about NXT? I think the move into USA was huge.
The move to USA was big time, and really elevated NXT as the third brand.
Yeah. Not
just the other brand. They probably have some of the strongest champions of all the brands. The way they book them, like the way they book Adam Cole for the long term, the way they booked previous champions before.
Yeah.
I guess there was a little period of time, prior where they did a little hot potato between like Bobby Roode, McIntyre, Andrade. But other than that, there's usually a long term reign for their champions.
And even Joe potatoed it briefly with Shinsuke.
Yeah. But for the most part, when they have an established champion, they stick with them and they book them really well, and that's something I appreciate with NXT. And I think that's what the crowd or the fan base is getting into, finding it on what's it called, USA.
I think NXT and USA also has maintained and developed the most unique character of, I think, any show. Other than NWA Power, it has this really defined theme to it, this feeling to it that's really unique and special, even on just a random Wednesday, with the exception of this Christmas show. And it's really cool. I think they came into the idea of a competition night on Wednesday, and they showcased, and they've continued to showcase, and it's been fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. NXT getting the eyes on them that they deserved and using it the way they've used it is definitely a highlight of 2019 overall. That would bring me to, I think, my bottom of the top, which may be higher on everyone else's list, is the NWA. It just showing up at all. It existing. Wow, I've done a horrible thing here.
So I've I'll talk about what I put on my top 2, because I encompass that with a broader subject, and it was just more of like the new age of professional wrestling, because we've gone over 2 decades almost two decades with just WWE as the driving force in professional wrestling. And now, in 2019, we have the inception of AEW. We have NWA making a return. We still have a strong indie scene going on in the United States with MLW, especially. Yeah. So, I just kind of threw that into this new age professional wrestling.
And Ring of Honor's Fall from Grace was only in the tail end of this year.
Yes.
They were really strong before the other thing happened. So yeah, the alternative to WWE presence has been awesome for the industry in general, and I think awesome for even WWE. But I think why I highlight NWA in that conversation is because this is the first one of all of those options that really, truly looked, felt, and sounded different in every way. Everything else was variations of things we'd seen before. This was a variation of something we hadn't seen in a very long time.
I also will say one thing I really appreciate in NWA versus everyone else is
Eli Drake.
It's in the game.
Less that.
Never mind. Sorry.
It feels very democratic in the sense that it's something that's easy to grab. It's like for everyone. My hope with AEW was these guys created this groundswell behind them, and a lot of the stuff that they put up was separate of the promotions they were in on YouTube, and that's awesome. And now it's harder and harder and harder to see their stuff on YouTube. Yeah, they put dark matches on. Yeah, you can download the Bleacher Report app and get that. Yeah, but it's kind of difficult to me. I love the production value of it. I love that they're doing stadium shows, but I kind of wish that they made the stadium shows these big events for pay-per-views, and then their shows that they put on were on YouTube.
Can you use less pronouns there? Because it's hard to tell when you're talking about NWA and when you're talking about AEW.
I kind of wish AEW put their shows on YouTube, their weekly shows free, rather than putting it on TNT. I think that would be a better move for their fan base. I think for AEW's fan base, I think that would be a better challenge, because in having such a large stadium show, AEW has to make a large stadium show every week.
Yeah, and I think what NWA did and why I like them so much is they saw the void that was left behind on YouTube by everyone from the Elite moving to where they moved, that they're able to get in there and say, there's a lot of people here who are wanting this style content, and we can provide that on a different level. And I think they're doing it great, where I think that, I think the alternative is starting to find out it's a little harder to make YouTube work on national TV.
I think, and the common denominator between the two that makes it so successful, NWA and NXT, is they are in one studio location. Yeah. And I think that was a missed opportunity for AEW to pick that up.
Yeah.
I think they're the focus on having an alternative, not trying to compete, but an alternative to WWE. That's using their words with them. Was too heavily focused on replicating everything, because WWE did not start with touring shows. WWE started with studio wrestling. WWE started with pre-tape shows. WWE did multiple Raws a night, so people would be there for a long time and would pre-tape them. And doing this all live, it is admirable. It is one of my highlights. But it is also frustrating as a fan at times. And I think NWA and what they've done has been something a lot of people in much bigger companies should look at.
Yeah, absolutely. At least so far as I can say for NWA in 2019, what they've done in their presence in this past couple months alone has been pretty big and pretty good stuff. We'll see what they make of it in 2020.
Already a good start though with the television championship.
Yeah, pretty cool they're bringing that in. And I think I'd like to point out that the consistent defenses of AEW's booking of women and their lack of a mid-card title, and talking about how new they are and how young they are and how hard it is to do that until you're super established, just need look no further than NWA to shut that shit down, because They've been on TV for less time. They've not even been on TV, but they've been on YouTube for less time than any of these shows. They've already got a well-established women's division with rivalries that make sense and that are exciting. One of their biggest stars is one of the women, and they already have a mid-card title with a tournament coming up that everyone's really fucking excited for. So, no, none of those excuses work.
And they're doing better interviews. I think that's the other thing too. Is
they're doing interviews at all?
Yeah, no, that's you're right. It's with there are NWA focused on developing talent as much as they did on the match quality. Which part of it I think will get better in time because you now know these people. You'll see new people come in. You'll see new talent you like. But I think AEW kind of, like you've said, assumed a knowledge of the talent. That's fine.
So we'll bring us into I'll do my first bottom 5 of the year, and that was the letdown of AEW.
I'm doing this because I had that in my bottom as well, so we have that to both check off.
Yeah.
We have that in agreements.
Yeah. And that's not to say we're not going to talk positively about AEW. Look, I fucking broke the checkmark game, dude.
Literally, AEW underachieving is why I wrote for my
I put let down by AEW and felt excluded by them, and then also the refs suck. So one of my bottoms was with all of the excitement behind AEW and all the things that we all thought it could be, and then I feel like, under-delivered to anyone who wasn't like their mom. You know what I mean? Like, unless you were already, I'm a fan for life forever, you're probably not incredibly happy with this as a whole. You probably like certain things, but unless you're like, oh, that's my boy, he can't do anything wrong, you're kind of seeing some of this shit get highlighted that you'd really rather not, you know? And they're not doing any justice to the people who wanted to be fans and can't be because of the way they portray that. So I feel like a little slighted by AEW, and that was shitty to take, especially when you have a company like NWA so new who's not doing that.
It's like if, and I'm going to use a local reference, but I can extrapolate this out further. It's like when you go to your regional Halloween show, or that has, little, like how Nightfall has little shows within it and stuff like that. Them playing to 20,000 people.
Oh yeah,
it's cool. Like, what you have this like little regional theater that does little kitsch events. It's really cool that they have that many people watching it. But when you watch it, you're thinking, oh, we're doing the same thing that you did for 20 people.
Yeah.
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 And you're making the mistakes that you can't make at this level. It's admirable.
Wise and just in-ring work-wise and just all the above.
And somehow they're super snooty about it.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know we're the best tag team in the whole fucking world? Oh, beating us is a fucking luxury. We're putting people over. Who are you?
Gifting them with wins.
Yeah. Like, who are you? You have not established yourself to anybody except for the people who've been watching you since you were a child, like your mom. Quit playing to your mom and start playing to an audience. That's what I felt like. And the refs suck.
Yeah. And I didn't like the Rick and Morty tie-in episode. That really pissed me off, but that really was like, oh, so that's who they're aiming towards.
That's where we're at.
That's where they're going for.
Yeah, that was a bummer, and their fucking refs suck.
And Jericho's champion. I will add Jericho's champion.
You mentioned that the refs suck.
Yeah, the refs fucking suck. No. Man, I broke all my check marks. It's gonna be a fucking nightmare for the rest of the
You've also
didn't even check still.
What?
Didn't check?
I still won't check, and this one didn't check either. I broke my check marks. I made a fucking list, and it won't let me check mark shit.
Call 1-800-275-2273.
You gotta use your.
I tried that. I went and I grabbed the pencil, and I did the whole fucking, and it highlights. It fucking highlight. Oh shit!
I was just gonna delete it. I don't agree. All right, well, it's not working. You broke
producer,
it.
While they're doing this, can I get like the drink?
Got my check marks back. Fuck
you.
yeah! Fuck yeah! What's up?
Ask for a drink.
What the fuck, man?
Well,
there's Martinelli's right next to you.
Oh yeah, I know you brought it up. Cool. I thought you meant like I had to ask for it. Oh, it's warm.
No one wants you asking for shit. Come on.
all right.
Have you tried turning it off and on again? Oh, that did it! Hitbox with the win. Let's see. So what was one of your bottoms?
Well, we covered one with AEW.
Apple bottom jeans. Boots with the fur.
I think I'm gonna go with. Excuse me. Man, I don't know. I don't know which one I want to go with right now. Since we were just talking about it, let's just get out of the way because I had the Lana Rusev Lashley as my bottom for 2019. Whoa! All right. Whoa! Jesus Christ, that's so bad. That is.
You couldn't tell it was gonna be.
We need some like air.
Oh my god!
How could you not tell it was gonna be?
We need some air moving bad.
That shit had like ranch dressing in it.
Oh.
Of course it was gonna be awful.
Oh my god, dude! You want
Cover your drinks. Cover your drinks. Cover your drinks.
Kaboot drink.
You couldn't tell them that before you blew ass.
He's the one who brought up Lana. What do you think was gonna happen?
I didn't know that was gonna happen. And if I'd known that was going to be the consequence of me choosing that, I would have not chosen to say that right now.
It wasn't even the sound. It was the lean in and then go. Like, it was just like, what was he doing? Bam! Like,
Welcome to the show.
Oh. All right.
Just in the mic.
All right.
I'm in shock.
Mic
still,
check.
dude.
Mic check.
I'm still in shock right now.
Stop. You're gonna make it hard to breathe.
Already.
It's already hard to breathe. Yeah.
oh,
Oh my god.
having contractions from laughing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Gabe was really like, "Oh my god." Yeah. Mic check. Mic check. Did that pick up?
Boy, why?
I agree. I put Lana on my bottom 5 as far as anything involving Lana this entire year was absolute garbage.
Yep.
She was unwatchable TV. And I don't mean like, hey, this is horrible and I'm going to boo the shit out of it. It was literally I walked out almost every time. What was it when we went to the live show and
Dude,
Phoenix?
I'm not usually like grossed out by farts, but Jesus Christ, dude, like
What?
just
Whoa.
that one just
What'd I say?
that one just got me so bad, dude. I'm so
It's
grossed
still
out.
there.
It was so sour.
Fucking hitting in waves.
It was so sour.
And then,
You can hear the sauce.
and then when you said there's ranch dressing in there, it just made it even worse for me.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of sauce in that.
Goddamn.
You broke me, man. You broke. I need to...
Oh shit, my beanie's behind you. That's gonna be like
Beanie's burnt.
How is anything still like? How is the plastic still around?
I bet you if you watch the replay, some of the stuff shakes.
Yeah, something's melted too. Like just it degraded just a little bit.
I only
just
wish
wilts. The picture right behind me just wilts.
I only wish I had a fireplace, and then when that happened, just kick on fire.
That's what I was saying for this whole time. The fire's behind us. Like they'll probably like the fire being on,
then Kane's-
because then it goes right into the fire and burns out.
And then Kane's theme plays.
Yeah.
You know, Clump, I was gonna ask for a little bit of that, but never mind.
You'd rather not now?
I'd rather not. I didn't know we were going straight for the bottle, Clump. But it's alright. I can get some of that.
Wait, that's a good point. You're just sucking the bottle off this whole time. Man, that must make you hard in the heart.
Hard in the heart, dude.
Do we have any other bottles of Martinelli's? All right.
Don't.
He doesn't have a lot of options. He's got to get out somehow.
What's happening?
We're going into. We're going into straight
Ew,
alpha.
okay.
He's going to die. Let him go.
Ew.
Let him do it.
This is gross.
He had to.
No. Let him go to the bathroom.
You can go to the bathroom.
Go,
He's
Plum.
welcome
I'm
to go.
serious. Go.
I think
Go, Plump. Bathroom,
He's fine.
Please.
he doesn't have anything in his mouth.
Casper here.
Stop.
He just needs to breathe. The
He's
man just
gotta
needs to
Let him
breathe
go
for a
to the
second.
bathroom.
No one's telling him he can't go.
Stop, baby. I'm serious. This is gross.
I'm just waiting for the dust to settle.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to go pour that out, or you want to still finish that?
No, he's not going to finish that. He's got to pour that out.
Spit it out.
Yeah. He didn't puke. It was in his mouth the whole time. All he did was spit out.
He held in there. Okay, so yeah. I think it's an obvious one. I think you probably put it in your bottom 5 as well.
Lana. Well, he had a different version.
Did the name Lana pop into here? Okay.
Yeah, go get rid of that.
So we can just all agree that Lana made bottom 5 for our 2019.
Yeah, she was one of the worst things in the whole year. Literally, when I went to see Raw live in Phoenix, we actually left. As soon as Lana's music hit, we walked out to go find snacks, get a drink, walk around. I went and got like a little bit of merch or something. But I was like, okay, cool, I have some time.
Yeah. Piss break.
Yeah, there was absolutely no reason to stay there.
You know, we've been really good too the past couple shows. That was a pretty big breakdown.
Yeah, you guys fell apart. I don't know what's wrong with you guys.
I'm being yelled at by
all that, dude.
What are you
being fucking yelled at by producer. I don't know. I'm trying to not spew shit at Mike.
I know, she's mean. She's super mean.
Yeah, when I turn over to look over and
A little bit of spittle. That's
little
why
bit.
he's got a towel.
that was disgusting.
A little bit.
You put a towel in front of him for a reason.
I was trying to look away. Look away, child.
Yeah.
Your fart is destroying the show.
Just this, better.
Oh man.
Oh, this
Yeah,
is good
Lana-
moonshine.
That really broke the show, dude. All right, let's try and get back on track here. So that was my bottom. You said your bottom already?
Well, yeah, but he had a bottom that ties into this, so
Yes.
go ahead and hit it.
Go ahead.
Mine, Tony Khan.
That's not the one that ties into this.
Well, you guys are going to AEW.
No, we're talking about this, that we're going to go into AEW. We're talking about Lana right now.
Okay,
I'm talking
Lana?
about
Okay.
That was my bottom.
Mine is cuck storylines and love angles.
Yes,
Right.
okay.
Because that's one of my other bottoms, the Canellises.
Yes, the Canellas go in there as well. Yes.
Yeah, and you encapsulated it much better than I did. What I thought two of the worst things at all was these two things, and they're like, they're almost the same, and it's like, oh shit, you're right.
Yeah.
They are.
Well, and it's
Yeah.
just, you'd think they'd get better with writing like shitty love storylines, but this is worse than anything I can remember.
Yeah, I don't remember anything being this bad that I would
It's
walk away the way I
trash
have.
TV.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know. There's trash TV where you can't like turn away from it. You can't stop watching it. This is
I would
just
say
this-
the wedding itself was kind of that, but everything prior to that was absolutely
Yeah,
different.
this just. Ugh. I have, and because of that, I was not invested in watching the wedding because I was so put off of everything
Yeah.
that led up to it. No, I'm gonna throw up. Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm sorry.
You're disgusting. You're disgusting.
Yeah,
No,
Gabe, don't do
you are.
that.
Whoa, wait, what?
Started
What'd I say?
Yeah, Gabe, don't do that. It's horrible. Ew.
Anyway, so now we go back to tops.
So cuck storylines all together
yeah.
and all their love angles have been garbage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Back to tops. What do you got as one of your tops there over there?
Look at my list here, okay? I'm just gonna look at my list.
What was
All right. Since you mentioned Phoenix, I got the shirt on right now. For me, sentimental, but NXT Takeover Phoenix Royal Rumble weekend was my top 2019. Because
I have a whole fucking wall of that.
that was the first. It was the first pay-per-view event that I've ever gone to live ever. It was the first show I've gone to since. I don't know, 2001, maybe, something like that. It was also the first NXT show that I went to also. So it was a hell of a weekend, and I had a lot of fun. It was a really good show, too, Saturday and Sunday.
It was absolutely... So we went to the whole weekend. We got the Royal packages.
I did not get the Royal.
I cashed in the stock. And I got...
Yeah.
I cashed in some nice stock options I had to go, and I took the producer. It was the first wrestling show she'd ever been to, was NXT TakeOver. It was the first time she'd seen any of them. She hadn't watched a single minute of any of NXT. She walked away like, who the fuck is Ricochet, and why haven't we been watching him? She likes them abs. But that's on my... it's within my top... was Royal Rumble weekend on a personal note was one of the greatest weekends of my whole year. Like I said, I made a whole fucking wall of it. We did the experience, so I got to meet, man, I met so many people. I met Rey Mysterio, Bayley, Sasha,
Oscar.
met Asuka like twice, Charles Robinson twice, Tim White.
I love that the painting is current Becky. I Or not Becky Bailey.
Yeah, that's why that one went there.
Yeah.
Alicia Fox, Mickey James, Jinder Mahal, Ember Moon, like I said, Tim White. We met all of them that weekend, and I had drinks with the club. Me, Zach, or me, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson. We definitely did. I had whiskeys with them.
That's pretty dope, man.
It was incredible.
Did they call you brother? Slater.
Yeah, and we made Carl cry.
Are you Uncle Marsh?
Did you make him cry before or after you farted?
Yeah, did it take the fart to make him cry?
Somewhere in the middle. He got super choked up, and the great thing about it is we were drinking for long enough that the next day when I saw him, I saw him as he was leaving, I was like, I just wanted to thank you one more time for having drinks with me, man. It meant a lot. He's like, we had drinks together? And I was like, yeah, it was pretty...
It was pretty cool.
Pretty good. No, I said something like, it was pretty special for all of us, I think. And he's like, all right.
Gets in car. What the fuck did I do?
Because I was all like, thanks for having whiskey. And he's like, fuck, we had whiskey last night? And I was like, yeah, it was pretty special. But it was awesome. It was awesome to talk to them and do that. So yeah, for me, Royal Rumble 2019 will go down as maybe my most favorite event that I've ever seen, and then being second row for that.
I did not have the greatest seats for Royal Rumble, so unfortunately,
you can see us nonstop if you watch it. There's no missing us over and over.
Yeah, it made it my favorite. It's one of my favorite events just because the entire time is me watching a match and then watching one of my best friends watch a match and being like, God damn it.
You can see me in NXT TakeOver though, pretty much the entire show.
Yeah,
I've got good seats for that one, and I did that purposely too. I really wanted to make sure I had a really good NXT experience.
Yeah,
and I figured like the Royal Rumble being at the Ball Stadium, it's gonna be hell of a show. It doesn't matter where I sit.
So. Dude, and when Becky won that fucking roar,
yeah, all of Phoenix heard that.
They were all at Ball Stadiums.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Elimination Chamber the year before was at a Puck Stadium.
Yeah, I was there. I was there for Elimination Chamber. But the Royal Rumble to me was absolutely incredible. The whole weekend was incredible and definitely worth it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I even bought the DVD. I have the network, but I bought the Royal Rumble DVD because it was like to me that big of a deal that it's like if it's Royal Rumble 2019, I don't see why I shouldn't have it. It was just huge. It was a huge moment.
You know, I pay for the subscription, so I'm just gonna.
Yeah, you just watch whatever.
I'm just watching.
Yeah. Let's see.
I was to see if you can burn the DVD.
We're live. Would you shut the fuck up?
Yeah, so much so I dedicated a whole wall to the whole fucking event. What was your? What did you have?
There's another top. Brock Lesnar, Beast in the Bank.
Oh, that was so good.
That was I kept thinking back to things I liked, and I just like him coming out and dancing with that fucking suitcase and speakers, and it was the best shit ever to me. Him being like, "Wait, I have a year."
The Brock party. Oh yeah, he's gonna cash in, and that whole back and forth.
That was funny.
Just off mic, but right in the mic.
I have a year, a whole.
Yeah, I thought you knew. Like the way you tell me that, I thought you knew.
And really, overall, just Brock Lesnar this year. I think last year there was a lot of criticism of Brock Lesnar as what he meant as a champion, what he meant as a performer, and he really showed like, yeah, I can do this, and he does care because he did without putting in more time, really, but just doing more work.
Yeah,
like everything he did was just like. Your time counts, and you do fantastic.
I heard a good point brought up recently when they reviewed the decade and people of the decade and people being upset that Brock Lesnar beat the streak. But when you look at WrestleManias, and if you take WrestleMania as being the big event, John Cena hasn't main evented a WrestleMania since The Rock. Since he went up against The Rock. Mm-hmm. Almost everyone after that was headlined by Brock Lesnar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if someone's going to get a lot of gas out of beating the streak, he definitely did it. If he just disappeared, yeah, but he didn't. He's been there for all of the big things and definitely showed up when it counted. Except for that WrestleMania Seth Rollins match, which sucked. It was fine. It was fine. It was a fine match. Did you guys watch the 365 on Seth Rollins? No. Definitely should. Definitely should watch it.
Does he practice kicking someone in the dick?
Yeah.
Dick kicking, cool.
Yeah, dick kicking all day.
It's going those like smaller Everlast bags, or just kicking up.
I agree. Brock Lesnar, I think this year was pretty incredible and really showed up for a lot of it, and was really entertaining and really kind of. I felt like as much as people were trying to shit on how much he didn't love the business, I think he really showed off how much he does. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Since we were already kind of talking about it, let's get it out of the way as well. Although it was one of my absolute tops, we'll still talk about it now, was Becky in general for 2019. From SummerSlam 2018 to WrestleMania 2019 and even beyond was just, no one's bigger and no one's doing it better at a level that you're still excited to cheer for and still excited to see. And her promos have never come off shitty or over-scripted or anything like that. She's nailed it every time she's gone out there for this whole year, and I think just watching her has not stopped being fun or entertaining in any way.
Yeah, 2018 was the birth of the new Becky Lynch, but 2019 was the year of Becky Lynch. Mm-hmm. For that, she does make my top 5, and in my opinion, she is Wrestler of the Year.
Yeah, I think it's yeah, I can't think of other people who got anywhere near what she did.
She accomplished so much. Every one of her promos were just solid. She never got stale. She put up great matches through and through. Even when she was dealt some weird hands and had some bad things happen, like Kairi Sane being injured, she was the one that was able to that worked to help Kairi and was smart about it. Yeah, it's just what else is there to say about Becky? I mean, she was also listed as one of the top female athletes on ESPN.
Yeah,
she's had so many accolades this year. It's
insane and it's undeniable. And I think that anytime people try to talk about other things wrestlers did this year to stay important or important to the business, none of them did anything as big as what Becky accomplished when she won the Rumble and when she took WrestleMania main event where she did. Because bottom line, Ronda Rousey alone wouldn't have been main event for WrestleMania. Charlotte alone would not. Ronda, I don't think would have been WrestleMania main event. That main event needed Becky to be the main event.
Well, she put her dust on so many people, and so many people were elevated so much by a promo with Becky, a segment with Becky, a match with Becky.
Bayley.
Lacey.
But I'm saying Lacey, but Bayley's been faltering. She's on one of my honorable mentions. Bayley's booking this year, but I think that's largely to do with her connection with Bayley or Becky, and the matches they were having together was getting people behind Bayley again, because this whole year before was people thought her career was over. They thought after TLC, when she lost that title, that was it. That she was spoiled for the fans. They booed her for having an injury and cheered that she was going away for a while. How do you come back from that? And I think that her and Becky working together is how she came back from that. And I think this year for Bayley was the best year for Bayley's booking that we've ever seen. From going to the first tag team champions to Money in the Bank winner to 2-time SmackDown winner. Now has the SmackDown championship longer than anyone else.
Grand Slam.
First ever Grand Slam. Bayley's undeniable this year too. I don't think on the same level as Becky, but I think that from a personal standpoint, being a big fan of Bayley and been rooting for her for a long time, this year was incredible for Bayley.
Yeah, I think for Bayley it was more of an unsung hero of what she accomplished, and that's no fault of hers. It's just because WWE is so heavily invested behind Becky Lynch for mainstream purposes.
Oh yeah,
but for the professional wrestling fan. For the smarts, if you want to put it, they know that what Bayley has accomplished this year, and she does get her credit for it. Mm-hmm. Unsung though, but we know.
I agree. I think unsung year for Bayley, and I couldn't be happier for her. I couldn't be happy for the both of them. The fact that Becky and Bayley are where they are at the end of this year is, for me as a super fan of the both of them, is it's credible. It feels like I've been booking this whole time. It's how they gave me the pencil finally.
I mean, if it was me booking, I would have better booking for Charlotte and for Sasha Banks as well.
I feel like something's simmering with them. I don't know what it is, but I feel like they're waiting for something for Sasha.
Yeah.
And then I'll just do as one of my honorable mentions on the same topic is just the women's tag team title in general showing up this year. I thought was great. Mm-hmm. They brought up a good point of it. Not only did it appear on the scene this year, but it main evented the final pay-per-view of the same year. True. And that's pretty cool for a title that we thought was about to disappear. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It showed up, it had a big pop, and then it just really disappeared for a while. So to see it come back and establish its importance, pretty fucking cool.
So I actually put something that's going to be opposite of what we were just talking about, but I kind of thought 2019 there was a little bit of a decline in the women's wrestling, and that was after the departure of Ronda Rousey. So that made the bottom for my 2019 was the departure of Ronda Rousey and the disinterest that WWE took to the women's division, women's tag team division afterwards. And it wasn't permanent because it's still, I'm still interested in it. I still want to see the women's tag teams, you know.
Yeah.
And I still want to see all that, but there was definitely a lack of enthusiasm by the company. And one example is the lack of a women's pay-per-view this year. And I wouldn't say that has everything to do with it, but that's just one example of them not caring so much about the women's division as they did last year.
I think arguably this year would do better than last year. I think last year it was an introduction to the idea of an all-women's pay-per-view, and they had the excitement of Ronda Rousey, and they thought it'd be great, and it didn't work out. That's fine. I think this year it would have been perfect. I think having a women's pay-per-view with Becky's the man character at the helm and Bayley, you could really do some things. You could really build some storylines, and I think it was missing.
I think Evolution was such a success that we didn't need it this year. Follow me on this one. This one's going to blow your fucking lids. It's going to make your...
Keep your lid closed, okay, buddy?
Keep your lid closed.
Keep your fucking lid closed.
My lid's fly!
Keep your back lid closed, okay, buddy?
It flips and flops.
Corker muffler.
I think that Evolution was such a success. What was the point of Evolution? Why did we have
ready
it?
for a spit take?
This is the first women's pay-per-view.
The first ever women's pay-per-view, and every woman's goal on there was to prove that they could main event any given show. Any given match on Evolution could have main evented any given show of the year. And what did we have this year in return without Evolution? We had more women's main events for pay-per-views than we ever have before. We didn't need Evolution because Evolution showed the company that women deserve the spotlight, and this year they got the spotlight like they would anyone else. They didn't need to be highlighted because they already were a highlight.
I mean, they did give us the all women's NXT show. Yeah. So we did get that.
Was sweet.
Yeah.
But I feel like they could have probably done something similar on a bigger level, kind of like how they did Starrcade.
I think
or how they did WrestleMania, or the fact that TLC ended with women, or Survivor Series was main evented by women, or
that's a great example.
Or the Saudi Arabia even happened.
That's great.
Like, I think the impact of Evolution was all across the whole year.
Okay. I would say, like, you make a good point. Yeah,
even tag team titles. I think it's a result of Evolution.
It didn't need to happen, but I still would have liked to see.
I would have loved it.
Yeah,
I would have loved it.
Would have been. I think it being missing is still felt.
Yeah, no, I wanted to see it. I'm not saying it had to happen, but I wanted to freaking see it. All right?
For sure, I would have loved it. That was my favorite pay-per-view of 2018 was Evolution.
Especially now that they have the NXT Women's Division as the third women division. Like, hell yeah, dude.
Oh, it would have been incredible. The amount of dream matches and stuff and
awesome.
setups. It would have been great.
Give it to me.
But at the same time, how many of the NXTs... I mean, War Games Women was... Did that main event it? No, it didn't. No, Ciampa
That
did.
opened.
That opened. But that was huge. I mean, and... The highlight of women we saw throughout the year was more so than we've seen in any other year, and I think it's because people showed up for Evolution, they showed up for Evolution, and the fans had nothing but highlight reels about Evolution for them to say, okay, maybe we're not giving them the highlight throughout the year that we deserve. Because what Evolution almost felt like was, let's give the women a little spotlight so we can get back to business as usual, and what it did was prove to them, oh shit, we can't take away that spotlight.
Oh shit, they can draw money.
Yeah. I need more ice.
Yeah, you got
Ice clump.
So I do agree that there was definitely episodes where nothing seemed to be happening, and you felt like the storylines were a little more specific on just a couple people, and a lot of women went missing, and I don't know if that was strictly due to injury, but I mean, due to injury alone, we lost Nia, Ruby, Naomi.
They're coming back though.
You know what I mean?
Nia and Ruby, I think, are coming back for Royal Rumble.
And I think Sarah Logan was hurt for a little bit.
Sarah Logan's already back.
I know she's already back, but I'm saying these are all injuries that took place during the year that they had to come up with a solution for. So
Well, we were also supposed to have a Bella's tag team ring too, and that didn't happen.
Fuck the Bellas.
Yeah, we're good there.
I know we're good there, but I'm talking about injuries that occurred. So
injuries that were caused, you mean?
Well, they didn't cause the brain injury or whatever that Nikki has.
Neck.
Oh, the neck.
Whatever.
No,
You would think it was brain.
I'm trying to make it better for her. Right?
You would think it was a brain.
Talk about some hits. Brie.
All right.
Oh yeah, Brie beating the shit out of Liv. Tried
That's
to kill
what I
her.
meant. Yeah,
Hey, Liv's she's still working right now.
she's so concussed that
She forgot who she is.
She's in this goddamn thing with Lana. That's
She thought this was a good idea. God damn it.
See the effect of the Bellas.
Did you have another downer you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of relate to that because it's gonna be a downer, more based on Becky. The Miz and Seth Rollins and other good squishy baby faces, where we're taking people who their peaks were kind of as heels. Seth Rollins really at his peak was a heel.
Yep.
Miz has been a heel, and not only are we making them a baby face, but we're making them this kind of style of baby face where they're the most like noble, good-hearted, sweet. They probably don't drink. You know,
I hate that kind
yes,
of person.
I despise the shit out of it, and they do it, and they're bad at it. It's not just that it's annoying; they're bad at it, and they could be good if. I don't like to throw a lot of like praise to Roman Reigns, but Roman Reigns has always been kind of a neutral face.
Yeah,
He's the locker room leader role. Him is that he's not going out there and saying, "Well, you don't affect my family," whereas
But you don't want to step in his yard.
yeah.
that's just old man shit.
Don't take a shit in his yard, okay?
Yeah. I actually put Miz and Shane on my bottom as well because that entire storyline I think completely ruined the Miz for me altogether. Was Miz trying to do this to make his dad proud? I was like, get the fuck out of here. That shit was absolutely nauseating.
That didn't. I totally forgot about that. Did not make it.
Well, for me, because it ruined Miz. To this day, I just don't watch the Miz on TV. I don't like him at all
He
because
was better as the heelish Intercontinental Champion that he was before.
Yes.
yeah, he was fun to boo.
Yeah.
I hated him, but I could understand why people liked him. Right now, I don't understand why people like him.
His promos were good. His promos were good heel shit. Seth was the one thing that I think knocked Becky back at all this year was when Seth and Becky were paired together so much as the couple. Seth's promo sucked. Oh,
Sorry, I was trying to make the ice drop.
Yeah.
So here's this. What do you think of this? We are so pissed off about the love stories of Lana and Lashley.
Keep love out of my motherfucking wrestling.
What?
What?
What? Keep love out of wrestling. I just want pro wrestling.
I think I get where you're coming from. That maybe
I think that's like a real like crude and dirty way of me saying it, but you get what I'm saying.
to an extent, but I also think what he's saying is like I don't think their shitty wasn't the same shitty that Lana and Bobby Lashley and Mike and Marie Kanellis, but it was still shitty.
I think that we got Lana and Lashley because the one time they did it the right way and had a strong couple who did it well, everyone shit on it and didn't talk about it. So what do? They go, watch. We're gonna watch this shit. Go out there and rub your titties out there and talk about fucking all the time and watch the people go nuts. And that's exactly what happened. We did this shit to ourselves. If we didn't shit all over Seth and Becky the way that we did, Lashley and Lana never would have happened.
I'm not blaming myself for this.
Yeah. Seth is god awful.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby!
Don't you put that on me?
I'm not getting blamed for this. I'm not getting blamed for Seth's shitty performance evaluation. Seth's coming out here. It's nice to be here in the old Pueblo or just whatever bullshit city he's in, and then I'm gonna burn it down. I'm done with this shit. And then him with Becky, it was so annoying.
You know what? Seth is probably the kind of guy that says Tuxin.
What?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hard.
He says Tuxin for sure.
And I bet he orders guacamole.
Mild though. Mild. Make sure it's
I
mild.
want some guacamole.
No, he doesn't.
You never seen that?
No.
Dude, I've seen that shit in Betos all the time. It's so fucking funny. Could I get the 3 roll tacos with guacamole? Like, get the fuck... Leave now!
Jalapenos.
Just give me some guac.
Yeah.
Wait. If he
Swap that guac!
Can you eat guac if you do CrossFit?
Can I eat guac?
Yeah, if you do CrossFit.
Yeah.
Especially. With all the
Yeah.
avocado.
So okay. I'm just.
Yeah, he
'cause
needs it.
We're all about avocados and CrossFit.
See? Yeah. Crossfacados.
Almost drank.
Did you? Are we back on another low?
I think we're on tops.
Back on tops. Yeah. So that was you. It's your cue.
Mitch Bennett tops.
No. That's an honorable mention.
What?
Tops. Mitch Bennett
As just like a thing that happened in 2019. I just wrote Lars gay porn revelation. Okay, that's.
I think it's interesting.
It's just a notable entry of what happened this year because it's pretty bizarre.
It is pretty bizarre.
That's it. That's all I gotta say. I'm not
just
saying,
due to the comments he made. It makes the whole thing pretty fascinating.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
like, huh.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna like talk shit about it. But it's
Yeah, I had no shit to talk about it. When I saw that, I was just kind of like, huh.
Well,
yeah,
it's not a criticism at all of
Yeah.
anyone for being gay. It's just him for what he said.
He said, that's what makes it so interesting. You sit there like, wow.
The other interesting thing, I always think of like Bruce Pritchard podcast when you talk about like when they find out things about people's past. Just tell me what you know.
I said.
Just tell me what you did prior.
If we Google you long enough, are we going to find anything? And everyone's like, no. And then because Conrad brought that up once, he goes, well, here's the thing where this person's stuff leaked out and nothing happened, and here's one where something not as bad leaked out and something they got fired. And he's like, well, they didn't tell us, and the other person told us, so we were prepared and we knew. And it's like, if we are blindsided by it, then yep, you got to go.
Yeah, it's so like I wonder if all this anxiety shit that he had this year, I wonder if this was the source of it, of him worrying that this was going to come out.
I wonder if that's part of the reason he made the comments he did. Almost like to defer away. Like if he felt shameful about it at all. If it was all like, oh, well, you'll never find that. Don't even look. This is how I am, so there's no reason to even look.
Don't write that into a Google search because you're not going to find anything.
Yeah, definitely I'm not the type you're going to find out about, so don't even bother looking. Don't Google forever because you're never going to see it. You know what I mean? It almost feels like overcompensation of trying to hide it. But I don't know. It's a really interesting story, and I think that people who took it to a hateful or weird criticism, I think, did it all wrong. But I do think it's interesting. It makes him more interesting.
Yeah, you can make a comment about the hypocrisy.
You know, the hypocrisy, the fact that he was called the freak.
In the sheets.
So they called him, remember?
The freak is lurking.
The freak is lurking!
That scream at the beginning of the song was him.
Yeah.
Oh, God. All right, so my top 5 for 2019. Kofi Kingston winning the WWE Championship.
Kofi!
First African-American to win the WWE title outright. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
100%?
The Rock.
Rock's not 100% African-American, and he's more Samoan.
He always rocked the Samoan dynasty.
Yeah, he identifies more with the Samoan.
Did you not know this?
No, he's in the Nation of Domination, and
His
his
name's
father is
Maya
Rocky
Villa.
Yeah, I know who his father is. I know
Rocky Johnson?
I know he's part African-American.
He's 50% African.
Yeah, but he booked himself first off, he booked himself as bigger than that, and secondly, he booked himself as a Samoan. He did a Samoan drop. All of his moveset was Samoan.
Actually, he's not African American. He's African Canadian.
Yeah,
that's true.
His father's from Nova Scotia.
That's true.
That's true.
But
yeah.
Okay, so
and I'll say this
because I remember them not saying African American or saying black. I remember them very specifically. They said African born, which I always thought was a very awkwardly phrased way of putting it.
For Kofi,
yeah, because I think they were still like The Rock. I
that's always been their defense.
I think in their head that The Rock is their first African American champion, but.
Person of color champion. Let's just use that.
It doesn't quite count to me. Yeah, I find him more to be on the Samoan side.
Yeah, and I only say it not as a representative of anything, but just having read conversations by people who are of that community. Who what was it? Was it? Remember when Rumble? My brother was talking about that friend he had. It was at a Triple H Q&A, wasn't it? He questioned Triple H straight to, they was doing a Q&A, and he's like, when are you guys going to have a black champion? And he goes, we had The Rock. And he said, come on, that guy's always rocked the Samoans. He hasn't rocked us. And then he said, well, Mark Henry was a champion. He goes, WCW champion. He was never the WWF champion or WWE
he was a
champion.
World Heavyweight champion.
Yeah, World Heavyweight, not the WWE champion. And
Booker T, which I thought Triple H would shut the fuck up.
Booker T was also World Heavyweight.
Don't you dare mention Booker T to Triple H like that.
No, but and all that stuff was brought up. All of the people of that community who showed up and won a title was never that title. Yeah. And so that was the whole point, this was the first person to identify with the brand and champion. I'm the brand champion. Yeah. Where the other ones was like, oh, I'm a heavyweight champion. I'm this other side championship.
I'm the ECW champion.
Yeah. but there was never.
Fuck him.
Yeah, but there was never a brand champion who had that appearance.
And that's what Mark Henry was an ECW champion, and he was the
Bobby Lashley won the Royal Rumble and went for the ECW title, which is fucking
really? That's funny.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's fucking dumb.
Yeah,
that's funny. But yeah, I thought it was incredibly meaningful that Kofi won that.
Such a good moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Adding on to that, the New Day. The New Day this year, I think.
Oh, yeah.
With Kofi, but as well, the New Day, I think everyone stood out in their own way, and I think they've continued to grow and have branched out. Their podcast is amazing.
Podcast great.
I look forward to it every Monday. It's like the best thing.
And Xavier Woods likes the way that I dance to the intro.
That's true. He did comment.
He made a comment on my Twitter.
You want the energy.
Yep. Yeah, I think the booking of New Day this year and Kofi and all of them was incredible. And yeah, their podcast is amazing, and just hearing them all talk about it and chop it up. And then the one time I got to stand there and talk to them, this was before they had those titles at all. And yeah, it was just insane that out of everyone who was backstage, those three actually walked over to me and just were like chopping it up, like, hey man, what's up? And just talking about all sorts of random shit. Yeah. And Kofi talking about being a super fan himself was one of the cooler things, because it's like, this was before everything blew up, but he was talking about how crazy it was that, Dean Malenko was there. And he was talking about the first time he met Vince McMahon, and we're just like talking about this stuff. Like,
I mean, how cool of WrestleMania did Xavier Woods have?
Oh, yeah.
Not just a Kofi winning, but then Batista too, and him being able to mark out in the back.
Oh yeah,
with Batista's song. That was a good time for him, man.
Yeah, that was bitching.
Now he's injured. Stupid Achilles.
Yeah. Let's see.
But he's killing it with everything else.
Yeah.
He is.
Down's awesome. He's
his D&D one that he does with Ember Moon and Alexa and Tyler Breeze is funny too.
I gotta be honest, watching people play D&D is the most...
We're not that level of nerd.
Boring thing that I could do.
Yeah. It's not. Let me get you on one.
I've tried.
Have you seen Dimension 20?
No, I've watched.
Then you haven't watched any.
What's the big one? Critical Role?
Oh, fuck Critical Role.
Drunks
and Dragons? Tried that too.
No, forget it. No, you guys are all missing the mark here. Dimension 20 with Brennan Lee Mulligan. Probably the greatest storyteller I've ever seen.
Have you played D&D ever?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, okay. I need to shut up now.
So,
all right.
I got to get you guys to watch just the first episode of one of their seasons, and then you tell me that...
I've never played D&D anyway, so...
It doesn't fucking matter. This is straight storytelling.
Okay, it's like Mario
If you
Kart.
like storytelling, you're going to like this shit.
Oh, it's not like Mario Kart?
No. Well,
I'm going to tell you a story about the time I played Mario Kart.
Actually, there's an episode just like Mario Kart, actually. They have a car race in one.
All right, whose turn is it?
It's me. I'm going to go ahead and bring it back from the AEW. And we're going to talk about Cody Rhodes being on my top.
I really want pizza right now.
Oh, you get a pizza. Cody in general. Yeah, I think for 2019, if it weren't for Cody, we wouldn't have AEW. Mm-hmm. If it weren't for Cody, we wouldn't have Double or Nothing. We wouldn't have Dustin Rhodes leaving the WWE and doing what he did with Cody. I think that match alone, Dustin and Cody, it's hard to argue that there was any match that meant as much this year. Mm-hmm. So Cody's year is incredible for all the things that it was. I think Cody's hype behind AEW is what made the letdown of AEW so big and drastic. It was like, oh my God, Cody's amazing, and he's endorsing this thing, and we go along for the ride, and then you just fall off the back of the wagon, and it's like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, what did I
you were supposed to take me with you.
What the fuck did I just sign up for?
Yeah.
Cody can't win the world title now. He can't go for world title. What the fuck is going on?
What the fuck? You're ruining everything good about this. But Cody, I think his year was incredible. He introduced a new company to wrestling fans. He was able to introduce his brother to his fan base, which I think was really important to him.
He was ROH champion last year, right? Mm-hmm. And then he won NWA last year or this year?
Last year.
So all that was last year. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. Because I want to... Oh, wait, no.
He left and went on a tear through like almost every indie promotion.
And the NWA championship was All In.
Yeah.
Or All Out.
All Out. No.
It was All In.
All In.
It was All In. It was the first one.
Yeah.
So that was like 2 years ago. Year and a half ago.
I think it was a year and a half ago.
Yeah, but it was definitely not this year. So Cody, to me, makes top 5 of just what he meant to the industry this year was pretty superb.
Pretty big impact.
Yeah.
He's a mover and a shaker.
Yeah. Notice none of us have talked about Moxley. Fuck you, Sports Illustrated.
What did they say?
They said Jon Moxley was the wrestler of the year with the biggest impact.
That's a real slap in Cody's face.
It's a slap in everyone's face. This guy quit his job and went on to be mid-card somewhere else. Fuck that.
Was it Becky or Kofi?
Yeah, not Becky, not Kofi, not Cody, not Jericho.
Yeah.
Any of them I would have taken before Moxley. And I love Moxley.
Ray. Even Ray. I know.
His return.
Yeah.
Check our signal real quick.
Yeah, I think it's just my iPad.
Okay.
Mine too.
Yeah. Yeah, so they said Moxley was the most important wrestler of the year, and I can't understand
I would
that.
say him leaving and him going to AEW was definitely a moment of 2019. I wouldn't say that made him the top wrestler of 2019, though, because what he's done since then has been less than stellar. And like you guys have said, you have Becky Lynch, who's had an amazing year. You have Kofi Kingston that had a historical moment at WrestleMania.
They both had historical moments.
Yeah.
All Moxley did was leave.
Yeah.
He quit and talked shit.
Rebrand.
And rebranded. That's it.
Drop the Ambrose name. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But like you said, Kofi made history. Becky made history. Mm-hmm. Not only did they make history...
Yeah, but Natty's not in the conversation.
Yeah,
it's just...
Yeah. But not only did they make history, but they continued that momentum.
It's just like when when there was an open challenge issued and Natty responded to it. That was like the last person I wanted to see respond to it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everyone, I think, was screaming, live! Live! And then Natty came out and was like, well, it's going to be a good match, but...
Nah.
Oh, yeah. I know. That's what I mean. Like, it was like, this is going to be a good match, but what the fuck?
Wait, are we talking about the one on Raw this week?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. God, it was slow. I hated that match. It was so fucking slow. And then they interrupted the fucking 24/7 title thing. I was just like, fuck this, I'm done.
Yeah, 24/7 got an honorable mention for me for this year.
Well, hold on. We haven't let him talk about Cody.
No, I'm just saying. What? Oh, keep going.
I wanted you to go ahead and talk about Cody, too.
Keep talking about Cody.
Because isn't that on your top?
Keep talking about Cody.
I just think I want you to talk about Cody, pet Jeff.
You talk about Cody.
Come on, you can talk about Cody. Cody was, I think, the most important wrestler. Like I said it earlier in the show, the most important wrestler of, I would say, this generation of wrestling, and I think that continues on. I think that he has the most impact, and it's kind of crazy that he's not at the top of anyone's list there. Even if his matches aren't there, it's what he's done for the industry is that level.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he's probably not on people's list because he did have a streak of having some funky matches. But
and Moxley.
But 2019, I would say Cody has put together his best string of in-ring work he's ever had. And he's gotten leaps and bounds better than what he has been in the ring.
And he's been able to show himself and establish himself as being head and shoulders above everyone else who's considered in his league. Mm-hmm. That he is bigger than all of that. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, he makes himself so big, he thinks that he doesn't need a world title shot ever in his career.
No, he just has a fancy entrance, and he's good with that.
Hell yeah. Plus his little, the little things that he does outside of wrestling, like when they were talking about forming AEW and they were talking about the things for people who have sensory disorders and the ability for them to be treated as a VIP, not as a person with special needs, and be taken to a space where they can be more comfortable and able to enjoy the show. That meant that was a huge thing to me, and I think that's a huge thing for so many people. And it's crazy that that's not talked about. It really, to me, that kind of annoys me that Moxley gets put there and they talk about that as the performer. But this dude's done so much other shit. Cody is Antonio Inoki.
Whoa there, buddy.
He's Japanese. What the fuck? This is like when Kane took off his mask and it was The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Whoa there, buddy.
Cody's at the level of, he's not... The matches aren't there or have the importance right now, but they could again.
But this year they did, though, too, with Cody and Dustin.
True. That was amazing.
That was amazing and emotional.
Dude, until Cody comes out for some match that he has no involvement in and beats the shit out of somebody like Inoki would do, then he's not.
And not And not
just because he didn't like the way the match went from backstage.
And he didn't work it. He went out and he beat the shit out of
him. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He just went out there and beat the shit out of him.
Until Cody convinces Cody convinces Tyson Fury to wrestle him, and then goes out there and legit starts beating the shit out of him because he's not gonna let him go over that easy.
No.
It takes a lot to be an Oki, okay?
They gotta find another terrible country to work in so they can have that match there too.
Who's the giant Baba? That's what I want to know.
So you had Cody versus Dusty as your thing. Do you think that was your match of the year?
I wouldn't say it's match of the year. I would say it's very close.
Yeah, it's hard not to have that in the conversation.
My match of the year would, honestly, the match that I think I looked at and had the most reaction to and the most impact on me was probably Kofi winning. That was a match that I thought about for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This Dustin and Cody was the most surprising match, and it was a match that I thought had a huge amount of emotion to it, and I think it was an important match for both men's careers, for that family. I think what it's in mind is it showcased the side of a performer that I've always been a huge fan of, Dustin Rhodes as Goldust. To see that different side of him and that he's still done, I'm pretty happy with it.
No.
Yeah.
No, that match definitely affected me there.
I mean,
I got to meet him the next day, which was crazy to talk to him about the match a little bit. But
I said earlier this month that Dustin should be the next AEW champion.
Yeah, 100%. You got no reason. Yeah. Cody to me is a top 5 performer of the year for sure. Real quick, I was going to mention it too about AEW. Did you guys see the Dustin Rhodes promo he cut on Sammy Guevara?
AEW. Nope.
He cut a video. It's on Twitter where he's talking mad shit to Sammy Guevara because he's coming for him, and it cuts between Dustin saying stuff and doing stuff to Sammy in the ring, and then Jericho cutting a promo about Sammy, and then Sammy doesn't talk the whole thing. You don't hear his voice once.
Nice.
And it just goes to show the issue that they're having of giving people a mic and a chance. Jericho's not only the mouthpiece for the Inner Circle, he's the only voice we've heard from the Inner Circle.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's a huge problem. I think it goes against...
You're not going to get Hager the mic. I mean, Jesus.
I don't know. If he's so goddamn good that we're supposed to be shocked that he's there, then I expect him to say something. All right, so that brings us back down to the bottoms.
Okay. Tony Khan.
All right, as long as we're on the fucking subject.
All right, yeah, so we're on the subject.
Let's do it.
We're getting together.
I don't have a whole lot to say, so maybe something will pop up for me hearing you guys, but I'll let you guys go ahead.
He's the biggest fucking mark in the world.
Probably knew he would go off. In addition to getting Marsh to say stuff, no, the reason I put Tony Khan in there is I feel that Tony Khan needs to have more separation from AEW.
I agree.
I feel like when he's tweeting out shit and talking about the stuff going on backstage and getting into Twitter feuds with talent, it's really unbecoming of the company. And yeah, I'm not one to say that's pretty dumb and bad, but I don't like that. Mm-hmm. I don't like that because then we hear about the fights and we hear about these things happening that are not part of the show, and then he's there and I'm like, maybe if you were Vince...
It comes off like someone trying to buy his way into being one of the boys. You were such a fan for so long, you just wish you could be back there with them. And it feels like someone who found a way to buy his way into the locker room just based off everything that you see with him. He dressed up like Orange Cassidy for Halloween. And they took pictures together. He was sitting there. Every time Orange Cassidy's around, he's getting pictures with him because he's my favorite wrestler.
And they're twinsies? Oh, well, yeah. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and then he goes out there and, I was put in I couldn't say no. I had to stun Sean Spears. I didn't want to. They made me. You were trying to show off and flex in front of your buddies and everyone in the world to see that you're the best wrestling fan there's ever been. It comes off that way. Whether or not he's intending to or not, he comes off as such a giddy little fan that it's no surprise that locker room says they can get away with whatever they want. Mm-hmm. Something's going to end up happening backstage where they're going to need a Vince McMahon-like presence to say this isn't fucking happening, and they're not going to have that. Mm-hmm. Tony Khan's going to finally try to speak up one time and put his foot down, and they're going to walk right past him. I don't get the impression, based off of anything I've seen, that anyone actually respects him. They think he's a really funny fan to have around. Oh, here's that fan who pays for our shit.
That slings our paychecks.
He's like a rich Make-A-Wish kid.
Holy gosh.
Kinda. He makes me think of
Without
like
the terminal illness.
Yeah. With well.
It's a big difference here, Club.
Yeah. It just feels like that's what it looks like. They all we love him. He's one of us. That's the problem. That's the problem. Is he's not your boss. He's your buddy.
Bet you Legolas guy wouldn't even respect him.
No, none of them.
He'd hop right on the house.
I don't get any person.
So your description kind of segued me into my top bottom 5,
right.
which is actually this is the last one. Social media.
Yeah.
Pro wrestling social media 2019 was a shit show. Using social media for kayfabe reasons and for non-kayfabe reasons. Late breaking news becoming synonymous with spoilers. Spoiled know-it-all fans just degrading and harassing people. It's just been a really shitty year for social media in pro wrestling. So that made the top bottom for me.
I think social media is one of the reasons that we have the storylines like we have that we don't like the Lana and them. If you would just shut your fucking mouth when you didn't like something, instead of thinking the fact that you didn't like it, you're going to go out there and change something by telling the world you don't like it and harassing everyone involved in it. Guess what they're seeing on the other side? Look at all of the traffic. Look at all of the engagement. They're not reading what you're saying. They're watching what you're adding.
Watching the metrics.
They're watching the metrics. They don't give a shit about the content. They're like, oh, everybody's tweeting about Lana. Let's do more of that. They don't give a shit that all of it says we hate this, take it away. Everyone's talking about it. Good. Let's keep them talking.
Hey, Splinter.
Splinter! Let's see. Tony will have more of a role in the Jaguars organization next year. So be careful what you wish for. Just saying he could just say, F it, I'm done with supporting AEW, or Daddy Khan could pull the plug too. I think it's actually a possibility.
Fair point. Good point.
I think that's 100% a possibility. I think that's the problem. Is I think that he's too much of a fan of that type that I don't think that he's got it in him to like stick it out. Or if his dad were to say, I'm pulling the plug, like I don't think he's not showing up the way that Vince McMahon showed up, put his house on the line. So I think that I agree with you entirely. I think that at any moment we could see it just disappear because I'm done now.
How much does it matter?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, if we're talking about millionaire kids too, like, and it's kind of different because Shane McMahon grew up in the business, but again, Shane McMahon is more of a leadership role than a backstage mark.
And he was more of a talent, and he was someone trying to prove himself.
He wanted to be a talent. Like,
Yeah.
Shane wanted to be a wrestler, and his dad wouldn't let him. Just like how Vince wanted to be a wrestler, and his dad wouldn't let him.
But Vince let him.
But also,
eventually he let him.
Yeah. But yeah, getting to there.
Yeah.
And also,
you're going to jump off the highest shit you can.
Yeah.
everything that I've read or heard about, and I don't know, I wasn't fucking there, was that both Stephanie and Shane did as many different roles in the back to understand each position of everything that happened there than anyone else in the company. No one's done as many different things as those two kids did, just strictly to learn and prove themselves.
Yeah. That yes.
Splinter says.
Yeah, NJPW and AEW partnership, that could be great. It could be great.
I think that's what AEW needs.
Yes.
I think that's what NJPW needs too.
I think, yeah, a lot of people aren't talking about NJPW has been having a pretty tough year too.
Yeah, their management, they've been at some real shitty, like
they've lost a lot of
new ownership or something crazy like that. Or new management for sure. New management.
They effectively, like, it's been just different booking and different, like, the booking, from what I read, the booking side was more now controlled by people on the marketing side, not people who told stories, but people who just sold shit. And that's fine. Like, there's people that are great, like Harold Mage he got him to where he's a big part of them getting to where they need to be, and then pushing for things like expansion. I think they need to partner in the US though. I think this is better than Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that they both. I think NJPW has the ability to create a feud, but a feud with AEW that would be amazing.
Yeah.
And I think
An invasion type.
I mean, Jericho did confirm that Tanahashi, right? If Tanahashi wins, he gets a title shot. Yeah, that needs to happen. I think that 100% needs to happen.
I think if it doesn't, I mean, I'm not interested in the match at all as it is, and if that doesn't happen, I'm less interested than I was.
No, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm not interested in the match. If it does happen, Tanahashi does get a shot. Pique my interest.
I think it's going to be a good match. I think Tanahashi's going to carry the shit out of Jericho.
Oh, 100%.
Probably, yeah.
Tanahashi's ripped right now, dude.
No.
Yeah.
He's on a way different level than Jericho.
For sure. Splinter says that if AEW folds, he fears that the rest of wrestling world is going to be just dealing with WWE again. I kind of disagree, but I know what you're saying. I think that Triple H has become such an important role in NXT that I think his opinion and his vision, I think, has a bigger impact than it did even in previous years. And maybe that's partially because of AEW, but I do think that WWE is not going to be what it was 7-8 years ago. I don't think we're going to go back.
You know, if AEW folds, there's still NWA, there's still MLW, there's still...
Exactly. And there's still Ring of Honor.
Yeah,
they're there. And they can always turn it around.
They just need to turn it around. Yeah, they need to fix it.
Yeah, it's absolutely possible for any of that stuff. And think about it. The reason ROH became so awful was because AEW happened. Everyone they invested everything in just walked away one day.
No,
so we're going to go to AEW.
That was actually more NXT. The NXT is what really caused the ROH exodus.
Yeah, they started pulling a lot of people.
Yeah.
The Elite is who they were leaning on the most when they booked that MSG show.
Yeah, later
and then the Elite
later in life. Yeah, but they started
the most
losing all their
recent
talent with NXT.
Yeah.
And yes, Splinter, yeah. ROH is in hot water with how they treat their talent. Yeah, that's one of the things that they need to get together.
How do they treat their talent? What's that?
Like shit.
Like shit.
What does that fucking mean to me?
Why don't you read the guy? I'm not going to get into it, but there's screenshots of conversations.
Oh, that one kid, was it Billy Gilman or some shit? Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. But I heard that guy's gone. I heard that he's been fired. So we'll see. So it's possible you can turn it around. Maybe. If you fire that guy, then maybe it's possible. Let's see. That was your final bottom.
That's my final bottom.
My final bottom, and I think it was something you mentioned in honorable mentions, was the 24/7 title.
That was on my... Yeah, that was on my honorable.
Yeah. 24/7 title to me was... It started off with, oh man, this is probably going to be shit, and quickly turned into, wait, this might be a really good way to push the right talent and give a lot of people screen time that might not otherwise have it. And then they quickly pulled that rug out from underneath us and went, no, it's shit. No. Yeah,
no.
Yeah.
Feel that squish between your feet? That's not carpet.
Yeah.
We need to see a love triangle or whatever that was. Crap with Maverick.
Yeah, Drake Maverick's been ruined for me. I don't care if I ever see him again now. And I like the guy. I met him before, and he was so cool.
And at first, his involvement was pretty funny, the way he was chasing it around.
Mm-hmm.
But then, again, they just took it to a new extreme that I did not like.
And it's almost like we have amnesia over the Canellises. That bullshit thing. Mm-hmm. That was terrible.
Their women's champion due to talking about how they treat injury. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, saw that.
Yeah, that's the rumor.
Yeah.
I don't know, I wasn't there. I call everything...
It's just rumor too, yeah.
All of it's rumor to me. I wasn't fucking there.
Well, you know what? I'm confirming it.
Oh, well, then it probably happened.
Gotcha.
As far as I can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Confirmed here. You heard it here, folks.
Hot take. No. What was your
bottom?
Yeah.
Bottom.
Fiend Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah, that was
because I couldn't fucking watch it. Got a migraine, middle of it. The way that we had just unending chair shots and shit being thrown at this guy, and I don't like headshots of chairs. I don't like that, and I know that people said, well, he hit the mat, not him. I don't like it. It's because to me it's more the idea of if we're bringing this back, the more people are going to start doing this again, and then we're going to have people fuck it up again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I think that's what the problem was with when Dillinger did it. Was he'd never done it before? He didn't know how to actually do it, so he fucked it up and really hurt Cody.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that's what this does. It opens up to fucking even the trained marks.
Yeah,
I can do that. I know how.
And then logically, it made no sense when the ref ends the match at the point where
this Hell in a Cell became too violent.
Mm-hmm. After you've beat the shit out of the dude forever and ever and ever, now we're done with this shit.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it was stupid as
hell.
And
the amount of matches that they've restarted for weird reasons, restart the match, ring the bell again, and then to have Braze jump up and start fucking attacking them, and her not being like, never mind, I was wrong, ring the bell again, the match is still going. Like they've restarted a billion matches, especially this year when they tried to do the no commercial break in a match bit. When that was going on, they restarted every match.
Well, remember, in WWE then also had that 2 out of 3 falls streak that they were doing.
Yeah, that was cool.
I'm not saying it was a good thing.
It was good.
No.
He was the only person who really liked that. As
I
far
dug
as
it.
like we could tell. Like,
I liked it.
Why?
It was good. It was good because I hate this shit where like it pulls me out of a match if there's a championship match happening and they're like, "We'll be right back. Don't miss the rest of the match." How do you know when the rest of the match is?
You know what they need to do? They need to come back from a commercial break with just like somebody winning.
Yeah,
I
just want to see that, like someone just like, yeah, I won. You didn't get to see it. Buy tickets next time.
Yeah, and I will say they've done a much better job of coming back from commercial and not being in a sleep hold.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that was way common. Throw them out of the ring, come back in a sleeper. Yep. Throw them out of the ring, come back in a sleeper. Now you're coming back to people jumping off ropes and hitting people with shit. And you're like, fuck.
On top of that, I feel so bad for the people that were at that fucking event.
Oh yeah,
because the shots of watching Hell in a Cell through a red cage in red light.
That was rough.
Yeah,
the Bears are coming. Have you heard of The Rock?
I have once.
I think I've heard once or twice.
To jump back on Splinter over there, excited about NWA Power. Have you not seen much of it yet? Or are you just saying you're excited about it in general? We've been keeping up on it, and we try to have watch-alongs as much as we can. We call it Happy Hour. So check it out. We try to stream live when they go live. Let's see. Splinter says he's over the Fiend. It might be an unpopular comment, but he is a gimmick with former scary characters: Taker, Finn, Papa Shango, Kane. Yeah, but actually, that's exactly why he made it on my top of the year. He made theatrical performances come back and be relevant in WWE again. As much as we want to talk about, the NWO creating a realism and we're in the real era and everyone goes by normal names and there's no more gimmick characters. Bottom line, Undertaker still exists. I still love Kane and I never got over Goldust. So I have no problem with the Fiend coming out and being a crazy fucking demon. I'm okay with that. And I think that it's cool and it was interesting and the build for it was done perfectly. Playing it all out has not all been done perfectly, but his performance has been in every of them.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's supernatural, I guess is the best way to put it. By saying unreal, it's a bit supernatural.
Absolutely.
But it's different, man, and that's what.
But so was The Undertaker.
It's what you need in professional wrestling.
You needed one or two of them.
But we were stupid as fuck in the 80s, man. We believed anything.
I think that there's still majority of people did not believe anything back then. I think the only difference between now and then is that we have a more vocal crowd. But I don't think they believed it back then either. But I think that the good wrestlers were the ones who could make you not give a shit anymore and lose yourself in it anyways. You started forgetting how much you knew it wasn't real, Mm-hmm. But The Fiend was definitely on my top because of his performances in it. And even so much as, what was it, TLC when he came out, it was just Bray Wyatt?
Yeah.
How incredible was that performance?
Yeah,
just
Bray
by
Wyatt,
him as a character.
Bray Wyatt's just killing the character acting in general.
And it's funny because it makes Miz look even worse as an actor.
Yeah.
And that's hysterical to me because he's the one who thinks he's a serious actor. And he just comes off looking like shit next to Bray. And so like, you don't get it, dude. You don't fucking get it.
Well, if that was your top, I do have one last top.
Yep, you got another top. Do you have any more tops?
Go ahead.
Jushin Thunder Liger's final run. It's been like it is Jushin Thunder Liger will wrestle his last two matches at Wrestle Kingdom this year or in 2020. And his final run has been really awesome, been really well booked. He's been putting on great matches, and then I've always liked him because he's a silly ass character, but he's such a good silly ass character. I've always loved it. Like, it's none of it's serious, but it just works. So it's been really cool watching this, and particularly his match with Minoru Suzuki was fantastic. With the dropping the chair, bows to him, amazing. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that his legendary career coming to an end is definitely notable.
And the fact that he wrestled on NXT.
Yeah.
And WCW.
Yep.
Well, on NXT it was. I liked the weird split in pop, where it's a pop, but also like there was enough people like who the fuck is this? But when you knew, you're like, oh fuck, because that was one when I was a kid.
You guys have been blessed. You don't even understand.
Did he come out in his Jushin stuff?
Yeah.
He was full Jushin, dude. Yeah.
All right, nice.
Versus Tyler Breeze.
Oh yeah.
It would have been funny if he turned into Kishin Liger in the middle of the match, like Tyler Breeze fucked up and then turned into like.
Fucked up, dude.
Oh no.
Let's see. So that finishes off my top. I guess another notable entry of just like what happened this year that we all talked about. Undertaker versus Goldberg.
Yeah. But they both came back from it, which is impressive. But that was a fucking train wreck to watch.
Yeah.
And the whole time you're watching it, so the difference between when Goldberg was bleeding that much and when Goldust was bleeding that much was when Goldberg did it, you're like, you idiot. And when Dustin did it, you're like, oh my God, he's hurt. Oh God.
Yeah.
It's just like now with Goldberg, you kind of expect him to bust his head like every match.
Yeah.
And it might not even happen during the match. It might happen before the match in his pre-match ritual, but
Maybe they need to give him softer doors.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
needs softer doors.
Nerf doors.
yeah, just wear some Nerf.
Splinter did say real quick about Fiend that he thinks he's letting himself go because he came back jacked and know what happened. I think he's jacked
always
as he
been a
was.
big dude.
He's always been big. I think the difference is when you first saw him, it was in comparison to when you last saw him, and now you're getting used to what he looks like, and you forget that he still had kind of a trunk when he came back. He just had much bigger arms. But he had a smaller belly, but he still had a gut. He definitely still had a gut.
He's got tiny little legs.
Yep.
He does
have short ass legs,
He's got very tiny like.
and those striped pants does not help that out at all.
It's
I
the
love
gimmick, like when he's wearing because he's wearing a white beater tucked in to like those tight ass vertically striped pants. You're gonna see some tummy.
Yeah.
On the East Coast, it is now midnight. So it is.
It just got midnight?
Cheers to the
Cheers!
East Coast 2020. Happy New Year. I don't know what I was singing. I started tonight off with Moonshine.
Yeah.
Titty moonshine.
So to wrap it up, I got one more bottom, which was Sean Spears in general. Fuck him. Fuck Sean Spears.
Just waiting for that one to come.
Do I have any more?
Splinter wants to know what do you think about Arn Anderson joining AEW as a manager? I thought that was coming.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of...
I thought that's where they were going with it. So I wasn't surprised by it.
I'm surprised it took so long.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised it took as long as it did. I think it's nice for them. Again, I'm so disappointed with so much that they've done so far. I'm not gonna let myself become excited about it yet, but I think it's probably a good move.
Ric Flair's next after his Legends contract.
I think they're gonna probably bring over Barry, right? Barry Windham's still around.
They're gonna still keep bringing older guys there. I'm surprised Rock and Roll Express hasn't done more with them, to be honest.
No, it's 100% true, and they're just trying to be the new WCW.
Yeah.
Ryback wants to go to AEW. What do you think about that? I never liked Ryback. I don't like him now.
either.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like his personality.
Don't like his personality.
He's kind of an asshole.
Yeah, I'm actually happy with him not being in the industry at all or being kind of annexed from it. Like, if he comes back, it's one more reason to not watch for me, to be honest.
If he shows up in AEW with some of the shit he said, I have...
The Botchmaster? All right, that's a good point. It might be funny to watch.
That's true.
Yeah. Forgot about that level of entertainment.
If he shows up in NXT, though, or in AEW with some of the shit he said about, like... things that they've been kind of passionate about, I have no respect for AEW anymore.
Yeah, that's true. AEW does lack the meathead, the muscle guy.
Yeah.
Because here they have Wardle salad.
Oh, yeah. Waldorf.
Wardlow.
I like you said Wardle, so...
Wardle salad.
Yeah.
Squirtle.
Squirtle.
But he hasn't even had a match yet.
And he never looks like he's in a suit.
He's always in a suit, too, so he's
Yeah.
not really a muscle head. So it's like...
The biggest muscle head they have is like Jake Hager, and he's in a polo and looks like an idiot and doesn't talk.
Usually he's wearing matching pants and top, which is also funny because he looks like a big-ass Teletubby.
He does.
They need a guy like Cage.
They do. They need a Brian Cage for sure.
They need a Brian Cage.
Yeah, or Sammy Callahan.
No, they need Brian
fuck.
Cage.
Fuck, man.
What the fuck, man?
Fuck. Don't ruin...
That's going
Jesus.
like in the same direction by getting Sammy Callahan, just like more of the same.
They should just push Joey Janela harder.
Yeah, there you go.
CM Punk drilled him bad.
CM Punk making a WWE return, like television return, is a notable entrance for me.
Yeah, that's notable. I think it was disappointing. I think it exposed him as not actually a wrestling fan, but it was interesting to see.
Yeah, it's like, well, I mean, he's been pretty vocal about him not liking the industry, and
I don't think he liked it before. It really, what it's shown me is how much he never cared about anything that wasn't himself.
I think he stopped caring about it after WWE.
How about
But he doesn't know anything about what happened before he was there.
Would you stop?
He didn't. They had a bunch of. They had a quiz there of WWE history. He didn't know any of the history.
Yeah.
Like who won Royal Rumble ever. I mean, like he didn't. He never watched it. He didn't give a shit. Like his whole thing was like if he doesn't seem to know about anything other than the years he was there.
Didn't he say he was like a territory guy or something? That was his excuse for it.
He did make a comment. He was like, "Oh, NWA guy."
Yeah.
He said that. But yeah.
The fuck out of here.
So he's watching Power, dude.
Into the fire. Splinter, do you watch NWA Power? Do you want to check?
No, dude. No.
No fucking way. So yeah, fuck Sean Spears. Billy Gunn still got it. He actually is going to wrestle with his son in a match coming up on AEW Dark.
That's cool.
So I'm excited to see that. Actually, I think Billy Gunn's great. Real quick before we wrap it up, what's your favorite pay-per-view of the year?
Favorite pay-per-view of the year would be WrestleMania.
I think WrestleMania was the one that had the most.
It was also the first watch along we did, so it was kind of important too.
It was the beginning of our show.
Oh. Shit, tough call for me, man.
Favorite one.
Hell in a Cell, that ending.
No.
Money in the bank.
Honestly, it's good. I'm stuck between Royal Rumble and Survivor Series.
Really?
Yeah.
I get stuck between Royal Rumble and Mania. I think Mania was WWE's love story to the fans, and I thought it was just done perfectly. But Royal Rumble was just such a moment for me.
Yeah, for me, like Royal Rumble.
Personally.
I just really enjoyed the NXT involvement. Like, finally, NXT got the love that they deserve in Survivor Series.
Yeah.
And WrestleMania was also top three also. So it was really tough. I would have to say I'll just go ahead and say Royal Rumble.
Rumble, yeah. I have a hard time not saying Rumble for personal reasons, but for a wrestling fans' reasons as like a community, I would say WrestleMania was the best one we got, but I would say my personal favorite was probably Rumble just due to the personal experience of it. I think that wraps up the decade.
There's a Pro Wrestling Tees sale starting tomorrow, right?
Yeah, tomorrow you
Today.
get 20% off all pro wrestling tees, including ours. www. WNWAWWEAW dot prowrestlingtees.com/wrestling on the rocks.
Get yourself.
Yo, dude, today I Googled Wrestling on the Rocks because the first time I did that and we were looking for stuff, a bunch of stuff of The Rock and Brock Lesnar came up.
Oh, great.
I Googled it. We were the first page. Rock doesn't show up for half of it. I was like, holy shit. Our Pro Wrestling Tees was number one spot. What were you just saying?
Get a Give Me What I Want shirt.
Yeah, give me what I want.
That's what I'm telling them.
Give me what I want. We got a Give Me What I Want shirt on our site. 20% off. 20% off Jones.
We need more YouTube
Not in the
subscribers.
pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Just in the all.
He's not listening.
I don't know what the channel name is.
I must have binged it.
Okay.
Do a Bing search.
Hey,
See
we
what
also
happens.
have a YouTube channel.
Bing search us. We got a YouTube channel. Go subscribe because until we get 100, we can't have our own URL. So right now it's shitty and stupid. So Bing search us. Do a Bing search for Wrestling on the Rocks. We come right up. They have a superior search engine and everybody knows it, including Spider-Man. Watch it.
Don't use Bing.
You gotta use Bing. Bing.com. Right there. See?
God
See?
damn it.
If you Bing.com us, we're the first 6 things, including our YouTube
That
comes
almost
right up.
is insulting.
It's crazy, right? Google has filtered us out, but Bing.com supports us. Bing.com, friend of the show. Big highlights for us. The show didn't exist last year. 2019 was the year of Wrestling on the Rocks.
The birth.
What just came out of you?
What?
What just came out of
Something came out of him, like a frog or like a small fish.
Seriously?
I don't know.
Frog or small fish?
Yeah. So we went from no show to this show. We went from 0 followers to being followed by WWE Robinson, Charles Robinson. We got followed by John Cena. We got liked by Thunder Rosa. We've been liked by Xavier Woods. People are noticing us. Get on board and get yourselves a poker chip. Where's our fucking poker chips?
Oh.
I don't know.
Give me a poker chip.
Get one of these motherfuckers.
Get on a poker chip because we're worth betting on. It's all in.
Good promo.
That was a great promo.
Yeah.
Last call, guys. Last call of the decade. We're going to see you guys soon. Keep on us. WrestlingOnTheRocks.com. Coming to you soon. Not yet, but coming soon. We'll see you guys next decade. Thank you for drinking along.
Happy New Year.